Hey everybody, it's John from RELICS, and tonight we're going to be talking about how YouTubers are destroying everything. How influencers seem to be destroying collecting and buying and flipping and reselling because nobody has been able to figure any of this out until we came along and started creating content for you guys to watch on the internet. And I only have this video idea because I was having a conversation with some fine people that I chat with quite often in a VHS group. Yes, I collect VHS tapes. Talk about all the weird things that you could collect. I think VHS tapes is up there because, you know, nobody really cared about them for a long time. And now there is getting to be this huge resurgence of people that are out there looking for these tapes. And in the group that I was in, people were discussing about how so many more people are coming into the group and they're talking about grading tapes. And this is the thing that they absolutely hate, is taking a tape and putting it inside of a plastic box and then you can't watch it. So that means it's useless and that there's no value to that. And that's just dumb, people. But they are really upset with the influx of people into their group. And this is not just VHS people. I've heard this talked about by many different collecting people out there. People who collect all kinds of stuff. One of the big groups is like baseball cards, sports cards and stuff like that. But I would say that maybe that probably, like, the influencers in that market space might have even saved that collecting genre, because a lot of the companies were not doing too well until COVID, and then people started really wanting to collect cards, and that kind of like gave a boost. So they're doing a lot better. So, you know, I know that people get upset and that they think that we are like just trying to make money, that I'm here just trying to make money, making videos talking about different stuff. But it's just because I'm passionate, and I can tell you guys, I am no Harry Tornado. I am not making any money really making YouTube videos, and have probably made $6,000 or $7,000 in the nearly decade that I have been making YouTube content. And so I'm not the guy that's getting rich, so don't be mad at me. But I want to talk about a few ways that I think that probably more so than influencers are probably affecting these markets. And I think that what we're seeing is a generation of kids who actually have no culture. And I know I'm just an old boomer and I'm saying this, but they have to like go back. For like my son, he's 16, 17 years old, and everything that he listens to, he doesn't listen. You either have horrible rap music talking about your b-holes and your p-holes, or you can go back and listen to like music from the 2000s and the 90s and the 80s, and a lot of these kids are gravitating towards that. And while they're gravitating towards stuff that's 20 and 30 years old, you're seeing a lot of these kids starting to gravitate towards like old media. Like they're really starting to, like, they want to collect comic books and VCR tapes and CDs and cassettes and vinyl. And I'm going to say that these young kids that are like a ship without a captain, like they're out there just trying to find their way in a world, because to be honest, they don't have a whole lot of culture. It isn't like us 90s babies or 80s babies who were raised in this utopia of music and culture and concerts and cars, and we had movies and all of this amazing stuff. And now these poor kids are being raised in this void, this vacuum of anything that is just tangible. And I'm not saying that as an old man. I'm not saying that as a 44-year-old man, because inside of my heart, I'm still a young kid. But I'm saying that these kids are actually out there wanting something to cling to. And you see that in the culture, and by the way that they're gravitating towards the stuff that was really popular when I was a teenager. Maybe if you're more of an 80s baby. I was raised in the 80s, but I was born in 79, so I really didn't hit my stride till the 90s. But like the 80s, 90s, even the 70s, man, those were the days to be around, bro. Those were the times, the cars, the culture, all the neat stuff, the movies. You could do stuff, it was affordable. And I just think that these kids, that they're gravitating towards this, and what that does is it creates a need, it creates a desire for all this stuff. And these people are getting upset in these groups saying, oh, it's you influencers. But in reality, I don't think it's us influencers. I think it's the fact that we've allowed all of these people to come into our creative spaces, and they've just sucked the air out of the room. And they've created some of the most horrible, like, music, movies. This woke nonsense is actually just completely destroyed our culture. And so people are trying to live 20, 30 years ago, when they could watch a funny movie, when they could see something funny, when they could say things funny, and they had a sense of humor. And I think that these young kids are gravitating towards that. I think the kids, I say young, I'm talking teenagers, I'm talking kids into their 20s, that they're gravitating towards this stuff, and they can actually love this stuff as if it's their own. My son shows me music. He's like, Dad, have you heard this song? I'm like, bro, like, I remember when that song first played on the radio. So, like, he thinks he's discovering all of this really cool old music, but it's just because, you know, as he tells me, he goes, Dad, we don't have nothing of our own. He goes, we have to listen to everything, you know, that's 10, 20, 30 years old, because we don't have, he didn't understand what he was trying to say, but I said, you don't have your culture. You don't have the thing that defines your generation, and they don't. And I think that that's why they gravitate towards the media and all this stuff. So I'm not going to say that it's the resellers' fault, or it's the content creators' fault, or it's the people that are running these huge Facebook groups' fault. I think that it's the people that are running everything. Ooh, getting conspiracy. Put that tinfoil hat on. I think that they're actively trying to destroy the culture that this generation of kids are growing up in, but they're not doing a good job because they're gravitating towards the stuff that's going to make them awesome adults. And that would be the stuff that made me an awesome adult. But I don't know. What do you guys think? I just thought that I would share this with you guys because it seems interesting. It's kind of a rambly video, but I think that a lot of people are upset, and I think that they're seeing stuff that they really love. It's becoming more expensive. That's one of the complaints. You know, VHS tapes, you used to be able to go into a Goodwill and find them for, you know, $5 for $1 or whatever they were selling them for. But now they're absolutely, you know, way more expensive. A lot of Goodwills don't carry them anymore, but I'm going to put my finger on it and say that I think that it won't be that much longer. You're going to see VHS tapes back in Goodwills, but they're going to be for like $2 and $3 a piece, because they're going to see that the culture has embraced them now, and we're never going to get cheap VCR tapes again. But that's okay, because you know what they're doing with them right now? They're probably throwing them away, and I would much rather be paying $2 and $3 a piece for good VCR tapes than knowing that they're going into the trash. So I think that we just need to be kind to each other. I think that we need to stop blaming everyone for everything being wrong in our lives. We need to take some accountability, and we need to understand that it's not us. It's not the resellers. It's not the people running these Facebook groups. It's not the young kids that are buying all this stuff up. It's the people that control everything. They're the ones that are ruining culture, and they're making people wish they were living in another place at another time. Because I can tell you, old Johnny here wishes he was back in the 90s. I wish I could go back for just a week. Man, that would be great. So, hope you liked the video. If you like rambling videos, you are in the right place. I love stuff that's from the 90s, 2000s, and 80s. You can see I've got a whole store full of it. So, if you would, go down below, hit that like button, and subscribe to the channel. God bless you guys.